First They Killed My Father by Luong Ung. Chapter 1, Phnom Penh, April 1975. Phnom Penh City wakes early to take advantage of the cool morning breeze before the sun breaks through the haze and invades the country with sweltering heat. Already at 6 a.m., people in Phnom Penh are rushing and lumping into each other on dusty, narrow side streets. Waiters and waitresses in black and white uniforms swing open shop doors as the aroma of noodle soup greets waiting customers. Street vendors push food carts piled with steamed dumplings, smoked beef teriyaki sticks, and roasted peanuts along the sidewalks and begin to set up for another day of business. Children in colorful t-shirts and shorts kick soccer balls on sidewalks with their bare feet, ignoring the grunts and screams of the food cart owners. The wide boulevard sings with the buzz of motorcycle engines, squeaky bicycles, and for those wealthy enough to afford them, small cars. By midday, as temperatures climb to over 100 degrees, the streets grow quiet again. People rush home to seek relief from the heat, have lunch, take cold showers, and nap before returning to work at 2 p.m. My family lives on a third-floor apartment in the middle of Phnom Penh, so I am used to the traffic and the noise. We don't have traffic lights on our streets. Instead, policemen stand on raised metal boxes in the middle of the intersections, directing traffic. Yet the city always seems to be one big traffic jam. My favorite way to get around with Ma is the cyclo because the driver can maneuver it in the heaviest traffic. A cyclo resembles a big wheelchair attached to the front of a bicycle. You just take a seat and pay the driver to wheel you around wherever you want to go. Even though we own 2 cars and a truck, when Ma takes me to the market, we often go in a cyclo because we get to our destination faster. Sitting on her lap, I bounce and laugh as the driver pedals through the congested city streets. This morning, I am stuck at a noodle shop a block from our apartment in this big chair. I'd much rather be playing hopscotch with my friends. Big chairs always make me want to jump on them. I hate the way my feet just hang in the air and dangle. Today, Ma has already warned me twice not to climb and stand on the chair. I settle for simply swinging my legs back and forth beneath the table. Ma and Pa enjoy taking us to a noodle shop in the morning before Pa goes off to work. As usual, the place is filled with people having breakfast. The clang and clatter of spoons against the bottom of bowls, the slurping of hot tea and soup, the smell of garlic, cilantro, ginger, and beef broth in the air make my stomach rumble with hunger. Across from us, a man uses chopsticks to shovel noodles into his mouth. Next to him, a girl dips a piece of chicken into a small saucer of hoisin sauce, while her mother cleans her teeth with a toothpick. Noodle soup is a traditional breakfast for Cambodians and Chinese. We usually have this, or for a special treat, French bread with iced coffee. "Sit still," Ma says as she reaches down to stop my leg mid-swing, but I end up kicking her hand. Ma gives me a stern look and a swift slap on my leg. "Don't you ever sit still? You are 5 years old. You are the most troublesome child. Why can't you be like your sisters? How will you ever grow up to be a proper young lady?" Ma sighs. Of course, I have heard all this before. It must be hard for her to have a daughter who does not act like a girl, to be so beautiful and have a daughter like me. Among her women friends, Ma is admired for her height, slender build, and porcelain white skin. I often overhear them talking about her beautiful face when they think she cannot hear. Because I'm a child, they feel free to say whatever they want in front of me, believing I cannot understand. So while they're ignoring me, they comment on her perfectly arched eyebrows, almond-shaped eyes, tall, straight western nose, and oval face. At 5'6" Ma is an Amazon among Cambodian women. Ma says she's so tall because she's all Chinese. She says that someday my Chinese side will also make me tall. I hope so, because now when I stand, I'm only as tall as Ma's hips. Princess Monanea of Cambodia, now she is famous for being proper, Ma continues. It is said that she walks so quietly that no one even hears her approaching. She smiles without ever showing her teeth. She talks to men without looking directly in their eyes. What a gracious lady she is. Ma looks at me and shakes her head. Is my reply, taking a loud swig of Coca-Cola from the small bottle. Ma says I stomp around like a cow dying of thirst. She's tried many times to teach me the proper way for a young lady to walk. First, you connect your heel to the ground. Then you roll the ball of your feet on the earth while your toes curl up painfully. Finally, you end up with your toes gently pushing you off the ground. All this is supposed to be done gracefully, naturally, and quietly. It all sounds too complicated and painful to me. Besides, I am happy stomping around. The kind of trouble she gets into. Well, just the other day Ma continues to paw, but is interrupted when our waitress arrives with our soup. Phnom Penh special noodles with chicken for you and a glass of hot water, says the waitress as she puts the steaming bowl of translucent potato noodles swimming in clear broth before Ma. 2 spicy Shanghai noodles with beef tripe and tendons. Before she leaves, the waitress also puts down a plate filled with fresh bean sprouts, lime slices, chopped scallions, whole red chili peppers, and mint leaves. As I add scallions, bean sprouts, and mint leaves to my soup, Ma dips my spoon and chopsticks into the hot water, wiping them dry with her napkin before handing them back to me. These restaurants are not too clean, but the hot water kills the germs. She does the same to her and Pa's tableware. While Ma tastes her clear broth chicken noodle soup, I drop 2 whole red chili peppers in my bowl as Pa looks on approvingly. I crush the peppers against the side of the bowl with my spoon, and finally my soup is ready to taste the way I like it. Slowly, I slurp the broth, and instantaneously my tongue burns and my nose drips. A long time ago, Paul told me that people living in hot countries should eat spicy foods because it makes them drink more water. The more water we drink, the more we sweat, and sweating cleanses our bodies of impurities. I don't understand this, but I like the smile he gives me. So I again reach my chopsticks forward towards the pepper dish, knocking over the salt shaker, which rolls like a fallen log onto the floor. "Stop what you're doing," Ma hisses. "It was an accident," Pa tells her and smiles at me. Ma frowns at Pa and says, "Don't you encourage her. Have you forgotten the chicken fight episode? She said that was an accident also, and now look at her face." I can't believe Ma is still angry about that. It was such a long time ago, when we visited my uncle and aunt's farm in the countryside, and I played with their neighbor's daughter. She and I had a chicken we would carry around to have fights with the other kids' chickens. Ma wouldn't have found out about it if it weren't for the big scratch that still scars my face. The fact that she gets herself in and out of these situations gives me hope. I see them as clear signs of her cleverness. Pa always defends me, to everybody. He often says that people just don't understand how cleverness works in a child, and that all these troublesome things I do are actually signs of strength and intelligence. Whether or not Pa is right, I believe him. I believe everything Pa tells me. If Ma is known for her beauty, Pa is loved for his generous heart. At 5'5", he weighs about 150 pounds and has a large, stocky shape that contrasts with Ma's long, slender frame. Pa reminds me of a teddy bear, soft and big, easy to hug. Pa is part Cambodian and part Chinese and has black curly hair, a wide nose, full lips, and a round face. His eyes are warm and brown like the earth, shaped like a full moon. What I love most about Pa is the way he smiles, not only with his mouth, but his eyes also. I love the stories about how my parents met and married. While Pa was a monk, he happened to walk across the stream where Ma was gathering water with her jug. Pa took one look at Ma and was immediately smitten. Ma saw that he was kind, strong, and handsome, and she eventually fell in love with him. Pa quit the monastery so he could ask her to marry him, and she said yes. However, because Pa is dark-skinned and was very poor, Ma's parents refused to let them marry. But they were in love and determined, so they ran away and eloped. They were financially stable until Pa turned to gambling. At first, he was good at it and won many times. Then one day, he went too far and bet everything on a game, his house and all his money. He lost that game and almost lost his family when Ma threatened to walk out on him if he did not stop gambling. After that, Pa never played card games again. Now we are forbidden to play cards or even bring a deck of cards home. If caught, even I will receive a grave punishment from him. Other than his gambling, Pa is everything a good father could be. Kind, gentle, and loving. He works hard as a military police captain, so I don't get to see him as much as I want. Ma tells me that his success never came from stepping on everyone along the way. Pa never forgot what it was like to be poor, and as a result, he takes time to help many others in need. People truly respect and like him. Luong is too smart and clever for people to understand, Pa says and winks at me. I beam at him. While I don't know about the cleverness part, I do know that I am curious about the world. from worms and bugs to chicken fights and the bras Ma hangs in her room. There you go again, encouraging her to behave this way. Ma looks at me, but I ignore her and continue to slurp my soup. The other day, she walked up to a street vendor selling grilled frog's legs and proceeded to ask him all these questions. Mister, did you catch the frogs from the ponds in the country, or do you raise them? What do you feed frogs? How do you skin a frog? Do you find worms in its stomach? What do you do with the bodies when you sell only the legs? Luong asked so many questions that the vendor had to move his cart away from her. It's just not proper for a girl to talk so much. Squirming around in a big chair, Ma tells me, is also not proper behavior. I'm full. Can I go? I ask, swinging my legs even harder. All right, you can go play, Ma says with a sigh. I jump out of the chair and head off to my friend's house down the street. Though my stomach is full, I still crave salty snack food. With the money Pa gave me in my pocket, I approach a food cart selling roasted crickets. There are food carts on every corner, selling everything from ripe mangoes to sugar cane, from Western cakes to French crepes. The street foods are readily available and always cheap. These stands are very popular in Cambodia. It is a common sight in Phnom Penh to see people on side streets sitting in rows on squat stools eating their food. Cambodians eat constantly, and everything is there to be savored if you have money in your pocket, as I do this morning. Wrapped in a green lotus leaf, the brown glazed crickets smell of smoked wood and honey. They taste like salty burnt nuts. Strolling slowly along the sidewalk, I watch men crowd around the stands with the pretty young girls at them. I realize that a woman's physical beauty is important, that it never hurts a business to have attractive girls selling your product. A beautiful young woman turns otherwise smart men into gawking boys. I've seen my own brothers buy snacks they never usually eat from a pretty girl while avoiding delicious food sold by homely girls. At 5, I also know I am a pretty child, for I've heard adults say to Ma many times how ugly I am. Isn't she ugly? Her friends would say to her. What black, shiny hair. Look at her brown, smooth skin. That heart-shaped face makes one want to reach out and pinch those dimple-appled cheeks. Look at those full lips and her smile. Ugly! Don't tell me I'm ugly, I would scream at them, and they would laugh. That was before Ma explained to me that in Cambodia, people don't outright compliment a child. They don't want to call attention to the child. It is believed that evil spirits easily get jealous when they hear a child being complimented, and may come and take away the child to the other world.